About to give you the pattern for personal prayer. People say, well, how in the world? I don't know how to pray. Well, Jesus is telling us right here how to pray. So after this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. There's your pattern. So what do we need to know? We need to know what the pattern is. When we come together like we come together here, or when you get alone in your closet, we enter the same way. Psalm 100, verse 4 says, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Never, ever go to prayer without first going and getting in the mode of thanking God for what he's done for you. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was to thank God for everything he's ever done for me, I could spend weeks. If I could go back in my mind and think about the things that God has done for me from the time that the earliest of my memories, I have a lot to be thankful for. I can remember back when I was 3 years old. Our next door neighbor, his first name was Danny, and he had 2 Siamese cats that were demon possessed. Those were the most miserable, meanest cats you ever saw in your life. You couldn't get close to them. They'd just try to get you. I hated them cats. Now I remember when I was 5 years old, the first time I saw Superman, I got a towel, a red towel, and I had my mother pin it on my shirt. And I was Superman. We lived in our house. It was about 3 feet or 4 feet from the ground to the top of our front porch. And then we had these banisters that were another 2 feet tall. So it was at least 6 feet from there to the ground. And after I got watching Superman and had my mother pin that red thing on, I went out there and climbed up on that banister. And I looked around. And I went. And I hit the ground on my belly. And I laid there and moaned and groaned. Probably cried. But when I was finally able to get up and whatever, I looked around to make sure nobody saw what I had done. I took those things, that towel off my back, and I realized I wasn't Superman. Well, a few weeks later, I saw Mary Poppins. Yep. Got the umbrella, climbed up on the banister, made the leap. The umbrella went straight up and I went straight down. I landed on my feet and rolled, but it still hurt. And I was glad that nobody saw me again, and I never did that again. And from that point on, I never tried to physically do what I thought superheroes were supposed to do. All my life, I wanted to be a hero. And it took me getting saved to realize there's only one hero, and his name is Jesus. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He's the God of glory. And what Jesus is saying here, he says, when you pray, he's giving us an invitation. Now you got to think about that. The God of all this universe is inviting you to come into his presence. The divine invitation. It's interesting what he says here, because he's talking about personal prayer. Or is he?